All right, good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're doing this. This week's vocabulary is, I think, 12 terms, and I'm going to go through them and have you take some notes. So, just like last time, you're going to add to your English 2 notes, and if you didn't get a chance to create this document yet, let me show you how. If you have, feel free to skip ahead. Just make sure that it's in MLA format. If you want a quick, easy way to create a document in MLA format, you can go to Docs. Normally, I ask you to use Drive just because it's a lot more organized and you're able to use file systems. But in Docs, there's this template where you can just click Report MLA. Make sure you don't select APA. We want MLA for Modern Language Association. And it will actually generate a document that is already in MLA format, and you'll just need to fill in your info. Please, if you are creating this for the first time or fixing your own current one, make sure that your title is changed. So please don't keep it called report. I'd like you to call this English notes. And then feel free to add your last name if you want to. So let's say your name Smith. There we go. And then obviously you're going to go ahead and edit this information as well. And then just make sure that you are typing in your last name into the header in Times New Roman and 12-point font. Okay, so today's notes you're going to take in this document. And please go ahead and also I'd like you to rate each word on a scale of 1 to 4. 4, you could teach it to the class. You use it in writing and everyday speech. 1, meaning you have never heard the word before. All right, let's start with how to get to Quizlet again real quick. Again, if you know how to do this, please skip ahead. To get to Quizlet, I went to the site. I searched CHAMR 12, so CHAMAR, and then 1, 2, and I got to the folder called CP English 2. You may need to request to join my class to see these words, so please do that, and then I'll accept you into the class. Make sure it's CP versus honors, so you don't accidentally enroll in my honors English 1 class. And then we're going to get to MLA/research terms. So as I'm going through these, again, please rate your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, and then you'll be doing some activities in a little bit. All right, the first term is italics, and that's that term for the fancy letters that are slanted. In MLA style, the title of books are always slanted. So if I am citing, like, I'm saying in the book Lord of the Flies, for example, I just hit Control-I, and it switches it to that slanted format, that italics. And that's how you're going to format book titles, not article titles, but like the titles of full-length books. All right, let's talk about a header. Again, rate 1 to 4 and list this on your notes. So a header is a notation in the margin of your document in MLA in the top right corner. So that's just this thing. That's a header versus a heading down here, which is a collection of info at the top left that's in your actual document, not in the margins. So if I click into here, that's the margins or the header. And then this is going to be the heading. For MLA, we want name, my name, the subject, and then the date in this specific format. No commas. All right. So that's the difference between a header and a heading. An in-text citation is a note at the end of a sentence that shows the reader where the quote is from. Again, rate 1 to 4, add this to your notes. So you're going to give your quote and then the last name of the author and then 1. So let's say I am quoting from Lord of the Flies, which was written by William Golding. Let's say I have a quote here. I put that in quotation marks, and then my citation would just be Golding, and let's say I got it from page 4, Golding 4. So that's your in-text citation, meaning in the text of your essay, not at the end, but in the actual text of your essay. MLA format, like I mentioned, is just a specific style of writing that is created by the Modern Language Association, and their picky format, they want it in all a specific style. If you didn't work with this a lot last year, it's easy to get used to, and the benefit here is it's really generating a life skill of getting used to how other people might organize their information. And so getting used to this now is really going to help you later on in life when you're asked to format documents a specific way or always sign an email a certain way, that kind of thing. It's going to kind of help you with those skills later on. So definitely get in the habit of doing that. We won't switch to a different style pretty much ever. You may use APA later on in life, but for now we're sticking with MLA, which is just a specific way of citing your sources. All right, heading, we already went through that difference between the heading and the header. Again, header is up here, and then the heading is this set of information here. A works cited page is an alphabetized list of sources quoted, paraphrased, or referenced in an essay. So if I were to cite Lord of the Flies by Golding in my paper, I would need a citation at the very end of my paper. Notice how the template does this for you. It should start at the top of the page. There we go. You're going to have a title that says works cited, and then you're going to list your sources. Here's the most important piece of information you need to know about a works cited. I'm going to type it here as well. Please add this to your notes. We talked about tone in all caps in class the other day. This is my bold tone of warning. A works cited page is not a page of links. If you cite your sources, you're not giving me a page of links. When you cite your sources, you're giving me the information about your source specifically formatted in MLA format. The easiest way to do this, and we'll go over this a few times in class, we might even go over this in class today. Today's the 20th. The easiest way to do this is just to use Citation Machine. Citation Machine is actually used by the MLA site of OWL Purdue. So you'll find it on their website. So they kind of approve use of this site, and it automatically does it for it. So it automatically does it for you. So let's say that you cite a website or you quote from a website. You can simply copy and paste the website information into this box and then hit search. And then you'll have to scroll down a few times and hit complete citation or hit next step a few times. And then you're good to go. Then you'll need to copy and paste the information. Again, it's not a list of links. It's a specifically formatted, alphabetized list of your sources. Next, a research question. So this should be fairly obvious, but it's just the question that you're interested in. It should be a question that actually involves some specific research that needs to be done or some specific investigation that needs to be done. So my example is you guys wrote the paragraph about either the echo chamber or mob mentality or I forget what the second one was, but when you wrote that paragraph, you probably needed to do a little bit of research on the topic. So those were your research questions, right? If you wrote about an echo chamber, your research question was basically, what is an echo chamber? Or the second one had to do with fascism and early warning signs of genocide. That research question was basically, what are the early warning signs of genocide, and is this true, basically? And then the third one talks about the psychological causes of mob mentality. Your research question there would be, what are the causes of mob mentality, and how can people avoid falling into that? So it's basically what you need to know more about, or what you want to be know more about. It's very different than a search term. People are very much in the habit of going into Google, because of how Google works, and just typing in a full question into Google. For example, how to create a works cited page, ? That's a research question, right? But a search term, instead of how do I create a works cited page, would just be works cited page, right? A simplified term. If I'm using EBSCOhost from the school website, which I encourage you guys to do for your research, if I'm using EBSCOhost, I'm not going to type a question into EBSCOhost. That really only works with Google and a few other search engines. Use a search term for those types of sites. All right, and that's going to be, again, the kind of the general topic that you're looking at. A works cited entry is just one on the list of your works cited page. So if you scroll down here, This is kind of how the template should look. This is just random information, but this is what will end up kind of being formatted like. And a works cited entry is just one of these. So it's one of the sources that you are citing. The works cited page should have all of your entries alphabetized in order. Okay, a signal phrase. We talked about this when we were writing our 401 research paragraphs. A signal phrase is just a phrase that leads into a quote. So this character says, or according to research, comma. So again, I'll use Lord of the Flies as an example. You'd want a signal phrase here, according to the author, or there are a lot of different signal phrase ideas out there. And to get more ideas or suggestions, please just do a quick Google search. There are lots of resources out there for that. All right, the last couple are pretty simple. A publication is just a book, journal, something that's used for a container. So the original work in which something was published. And plagiarism, we should be comfortable with this by now. Copying someone else's work or ideas as if they were your own. So anything that involves copying another's work that you didn't specifically create. Self-plagiarism is also a thing. So if you're trying to pass off work that you already did for another class and use it as work for a current year's class, that's actually plagiarism as well. We should be comfortable with that, and we'll be talking about that more, but definitely give me a rating of 1 to 4 on the topic of plagiarism, and then we'll go ahead and jump into our activities. So similar to last week for vocabulary, we're going to get to the activities on the meme unit slide. For this week, obviously, we have this list of 12 that are on Quizlet, so these were last week's. And then our list for this week are on Quizlet, those 12. Please review on Quizlet with some games if you would like to, and then choose 1 to 2 of the following activities per word, and you'll complete that again in your English notes. Make sure you add the date and the title of this entry. Rate 1 to 4 for each one, and then choose 1 or 2 activities for each word that match where you're at with that word. Again, if you're at a 1 for confidence, maybe complete activity 1. If you're at a 4 for confidence, use activity 4. These are tools, right? These are tools to help you guys acquire more vocabulary. A lot of you said in your intro surveys that one of your goals this year or something you want to do is to grow your vocabulary. This is how you do that. Choose activities that will help you remember that word and practice using it in everyday speech and writing. This is how you achieve a bigger vocabulary and start including those words in your speech and in your writing. All right, thank you so much. Make sure that you add those notes to your English notes, and we'll jump into a different list next week.